What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Now, as you may have already heard, there was a last minute change to the effect resistance of the Memory of Chaos Elites, Cocolia, Bronya, Japard, all. Of course, as soon as I dropped my video, some changes happened. Like, what kind of, it's all good though. I am somebody who prides myself in not spreading misinformation. So we're gonna take that video down, and this is gonna be the new updated version of how much effect hit rate you actually need on your Silverwolf now, as well as my thoughts and my take on what this buff means for her as a DPS if you're trying to run her as that and still be a support. Can you now achieve that now with the new numbers? So let's go ahead and get into it. This is a very important video for Silverwolf players and people who are trying to acquire her or want to know about her value. This is actually a pretty significant buff. So let's talk about it. So I painted a scenario in a previous video basically saying this is what Silverwolf's RNG procs are going to look like at skill level 10, skill level 8, and talent level 10. Like, basically these are her percentages if you take her to skill level 8, burst level 8, talent level 10. The talent is really the lowest percentage, and that's the one you want to focus on, like trying to get it as high as possible. These two are a little bit easier to achieve. I'm going to be moving fast because I already made this video. So this is, if you're new, completely new to seeing my channel in this video, it's tough because I don't feel like talking about this shit all over again. But basically, these were the old effect resistances. Level 90 Cocolia, level 90 Varrock. They were the only two special cases in the game as of now who had a higher effect resistance than everybody else. They have a 50% or had a 50% effect resistance. Bronya, Japard, and Elites at level 90. This is all at level 90, mind you. We're at 40% effect resistance. The new numbers are now going to be 40% Cocolia, 40% Varrock, and 30% for Bronya, Japard, and Elites at level 90 and at level 100. So it's not just a level 90 thing. They actually capped it to even when they drop, because right now level 100 creatures aren't even in the game. When they drop the 100 creatures, or if they do, there's still going to be effect resistance 40% for the bosses, and the mini bosses like Bronya and Japard, and then the elites are going to be at a 30% effect hit rate. So they dropped it by 10%, which is actually quite freaking massive. So I guess the questions we're going to be answering is, do you still need the same amount of effect hit rate smack in the video that you mentioned before, or has things changed? If I'm being honest with you, you still need the same amount of effect hit rate, give or take a couple, like a 5% or 10%. But your procs are way more consistent, and furthermore, the biggest, most significant buff to Silverwolf is the fact that now, as a DPS, it's much easier to build in effect hit rate, get around that 80 to 90% effect hit rate mark, and still do a ridiculous amount of decent support damage with Silverwolf, which was actually, that's a massive buff, because before it was kind of like not gonna happen because the percentages were too low. Now with this buff, you can absolutely build your Silverwolf with some mid-maxing, of course, to deal damage and still do her supportive duties. So let's go ahead and talk about all of this. To achieve 120% ER, we already went over this in our previous video. Body main stat, superimposed 5 free-to-play light cone that's in the event that you're going to be able to get to superimpose 5 eventually. Right here, 40%. And then traces, EHR plus 18%. That's in her traces. Once you take her to level 80, you're going to get 18% free effective hit rate. That's going to total out to 101.2 effective hit rate. Now, to get the remainder of it, all you got to do is acquire that through some substat RNG, a little bit mid-maxing, or you can get the 2-piece relic set that gives you an additional 10%. So whatever floats your boat there. Now, effect probability equation. These are updated numbers from what I showed you with the new information that we now have. So her skill against Coco with 120% effective hit rate, meaning you're rocking a main effective hit rate body stat. You're going full-blown support Bronya, or that's not Bronya, Silverwolf. 112% chance for skill. Anything over 100 is a guaranteed chance. Let's just put it that way. She's gonna be guaranteed to proc her skill, guaranteed to proc her burst. So defensive shred, guaranteed. Skill applying the weakness, guaranteed. There's no if or ands. It's going to happen. And then finally, almost or practically a guarantee even for the talent 3 buffs that you get: the speed buff, the attack debuff, and I always forget the defensive shred. Almost practically a guarantee against the absolute highest effect resistance creatures in the game, or people, Cocolia and Clara's best friend. So when you go against Bronya, Japard, and Elites, which is 10% less effect resistance on them, everything is guaranteed if you have 120 ER. So you could actually bring that number down and have only 100 EHR, and you would still have, like, you'd meet all these, no problem. So this, like I said, that was a significant 10% debuff to their effect resistance. So now if you got 100% effect hit rate, support Silverwolf, you're good to go, bro, in any scenario in the game. Like a 5%, bro, who cares? It's not that big of a deal. Oh, well, with 100%, that's actually going to come down to about 85 to 86% on the talent. These two will still be guaranteed. So with 120, you're absolutely guaranteed, which, mind you, that's not hard to do on a support wolf. Again, you don't care about damage. You're just trying to apply the debuffs. So you can find any pieces with effect hit rate on them and the sub stats, and you'll get to your 120. You already have 100 just from having a superimposed 5 light cone, her 18% trace, and then I'm missing the other thing. What am I missing? Oh, the freaking effect hit rate main stat. That's right, on the body. Now, getting over to the more important part. If you are doing a DPS Silverwolf, what are those numbers going to look like? Again, like I said in my last video, you're going to need a 2-piece relic set, the one that gives you the 10% effect hit rate. You have to run that on DPS Silverwolf. You're also going to need 20% mid-maxed into your substats. So you're still going to need this scenario. That does not change. The thing that made this a significant buff, though, is the percentages definitely increased. So against Cocolia, you're pretty much guaranteed to proc your skill, 4%, bro. Like, you missed that, that's just tough, buddy. Your luck's gonna look like how my luck looked on the Silverwolf banner in regards to winning the 50-50. Can't be missing no 4% chances, bro. 113% guaranteed burst, and then 81% to apply the bugs against Cocolia and the robot guy, Varrock. I never know if his fucking S is silent. I feel like it is, bro. But against Bronya, Japard, and the elites, everybody else pretty much 100% skill chance, 100% burst chance. It's overkill, so I just put 100%, and then pretty much 100% talent chance. So yes, DPS Silverwolf can now support and still do damage. This is huge. Now again, guys, this is going to be a lot more tougher because you're going to run her with a quantum set, or a break effect set, whatever floats your boat. You saw how I'm going to be building her. I'm building her with the break effect set because the quantum set is just going to take way too much grind and RNG to go through. Whichever set you build her with, you can actually now effectively build her for a crit rate main body stat and still meet all the demands of her supportive needs, which is massive, guys, absolutely massive. I'll show this last page just because I showed it in my last video. You need 100% EHR for Silverwolf. EHR body will suffice for support wolf, and then DPS Silverwolf players will need to mid-max plus 20% EHR into substats and run plus 10% EHR relic set. These are the numbers, guys. In fact, I guess before we end the video, I'll even show you they updated it on the fandom website. Okay, so right here we're looking at Cocolia Boss, which is huge. That's the Memory of Chaos version of her. Look, it's already been updated. If you watch my last video, you'll know that this was not. You know what, man? I think I'm gonna keep my last video up just so people can see the changes. So, because the next thing that happens is you got the morons who just think I'm lying. Like, oh, you're not telling the truth. Okay, buddy. All right, buddy. Well, here you have it. Other videos still up if you want to go look at that. These are the legitimate changes, boys. They brought the numbers down by 10%. Okay. Same thing if you go look at Japard or Bronya and all of them, they brought them down by 10%. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope we brought you some value today. As always, y'all take care, and I hope to provide you the most accurate information. And you know what it is. I'll catch you on the flip side.